Here we have our setup. This top box, what I want you to do is kind of go, when I tell you to go over there, look at the setup. The top box, the big one, it's 1 point perspective from my point of view, right? You guys listen. The front face of this, the corners are 90-degree angle with one another. So these corners, there's no angle there. So we only have this angle and this angle that goes back to some sort of a point depending on where the angles meet. This and this needs to be a little flatter, I can tell. It just barely angles down because it's barely above our eye level. There's not much angle at all when you're slightly above or below eye level, and then when you're right on eye level, what is it? It's a straight line, right? It's a straight horizontal line because we can't tell if there's an angle or not because it's right on our eye level. So this is right below, this is, remember this is the front face, this stays, all the corners stay at 90-degree angles. And then the side, this side angles a little more up than this one does. This one angles slightly down. And then they all meet right here, right? These lines right here, which you're gonna dot in a second, and we're drawing all this stuff kind of as if it's made of glass. We're still drawing some of this stuff so that we can kind of get the orthogonal lines. Like for instance, this one, this is a box in 2 point perspective. I don't see that line there, but it's covered up by this, but I know it goes there. Go back to that and look at that. See what I'm talking about? And then this goes up to there. These sides angle up because they're, if you look over here, let me show you this real quick. This is 2 point perspective. I know there's a lot of stuff on here, but pretend like this is the corner of a box. Let's just draw a vertical line right through all that. As the angles, anything that's below eye level, this is eye level, this is horizon line, right? This is two point only, not 1 point, what I'm talking about right here. The further below eye level the bottom of a box gets, or top of the box for that matter, the more severe the angle becomes. This way, like a V shape. The opposite starts to happen the more you go above eye level. The V shape becomes more, the inverted V shape becomes more severe the higher up you go. Okay? This is 2 point perspective. 1 point doesn't matter where in relation the front face of the box is in relation to your horizon line. It's always the same. You'll have either a perfect square or a perfect rectangle, depending on the shape. That means the corners will be at 90-degree angles on all 4 sides. This doesn't happen with 2 point perspective. That should be straight down. I'm just making this so that you have that. So just pretend like this is the top edge of a box of 2 point perspective. The higher up you go above eye level, the more severe the angle goes this way. The more below eye level, the more severe it goes that way, the opposite. At eye level, what does it do? Straight horizontal line, right? So let's just pretend like this is the same box, but it's been, you can do something like this. You see all the different changes if you were to break this down. And then pretend like, let's just pretend like this one thing is a box in 2 point, right? You'd have something like this. So this would be the top of the box, this would be the bottom. If we were way below our eye level, just pretend like at eye level, flat line. Say we have a box where the bottom of it is at eye level and the top of it's slightly above. you'd have a shape like this. It'd be flat at the bottom, and then it'd start angling down like this above. Say we have a box where the top of it's flat and the bottom of it's slightly below eye level. You have flat above and a slight angle below. And then it angles more severe. You see, I'm just trying to make that really apparent to you so that when we get back to this, now what I'm going to do is, the reason why we want to use colored pencils with this one part, this is 1 point perspective, right? Even if I drew this, I mean, you can do this if you want, you don't have to. I mean, it helps with the visualization part of it. But pretend like we made this as if it were made of glass, 3D. We would just continue, make a parallel line where, with this, where it hits this back corner straight out, and then make another diagonal line. That's actually more severe. It's actually like right there, way over. I kind of screwed that up. And then your corner actually would be way over here. Why do I know that? Because all the lines lead to 1 point. This angles over that way a little more. You have to kind of, and do this with a pencil first before we even touch these. We want to get all this right with a pencil, and then what I would do, if you think that's right, is go with a pencil, probably something that's got some bright color to it. So you guys pay attention. Please look over here. I'm trying to. And then just this one, once you know you have it right, why do you think I'm wanting you to do this? Nobody wants to answer me. Why do you think I want you to use colored pencils, different colored pencils, to do this? Color code, exactly, to make, I'm just seeing if you guys are paying attention. So this is almost like a flat, this angle here, this is straight across. This slightly goes down, very slightly, because it's slightly above eye level. Now what you'll do now is make dots over your pencil line for those orthogonal lines. These are called orthogonal lines. These imaginary lines that come off of the side of a cube in this case. Now you're only going to have, I mean, you'll have a very narrow one. That's basically what you're going to have for that box. You'll have something kind of like this. I mean, it's not perfect because I'm doing this really fast, but something like this is going to be a whole different, I would treat this kind of like a, well, no, you can still treat this like 2 point perspective. This is 2 point perspective. You can have all of these go, remember you start with a pencil first, lightly, and you can use a ruler or a straight edge if it helps. Here, let's use a chopstick. You know, kind of go like that, maybe. And you have to remember that all of these, this is what is this? This is 2 point, right? This is almost like we're looking at the corner of that. Anytime you're looking at the corner, it doesn't matter if that's, what is that, a hexagon? It doesn't matter if we're looking at a hexagon or not, you're still going to have the same. Here I am challenging myself. When was the last time I did a hexagon shape? What we need to, and you can use straight edges, like I said, it helps. Probably will. Just don't want to turn this into, so I would have something like this, right, for that side. And then these lines, let's do this, the interior of this. Let's see, that to that. Gets a little bit complicated. Not too bad. You're just repeating what you did in the front and the back. You have that to that to that to that. I'm just repeating that's the same angles all over again, basically. This angle needs to come. On this side, you would have, that. We know these two will go this direction. And I got my finger over this, so it's kind of hard to do, but I got it. You'd have something like that. And then these sides, back here, the back of this would also go to that. You guys looking, you're really paying attention, right? I know this is kind of real. Man, it is pouring out there. So that will go to that side. That already goes to that side. What am I missing? The inside of this would also go to this side. So that angle, I just screwed that angle up. Where's my clicker pencil? I just had it.
It's under your foot.
Under my foot, thank you. This angle is slightly off. And I know that because I'm trying to line this corner up. Should be right here. So that helps me finish that off. This should be in more, is what I did. This is too far out. That and that. So you have something kind of like this. This is still a 2-point perspective. If I want to get crazy with it, I can add the outer edge, just repeat the same angles. See how it's got it, scroll back to that shape, please. Yeah, it's got these, yeah, you guys can take the restroom. I'm just trying to go over this so you really understand it. So we can still make that 2-point. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out what I've got going on. Oh, there's a piece of wood in there, I got it. That's not the very back of it. I was like, how could that be the back? There's like a piece of wood in there that kind of holds that together inside. So this is 2-point, right? And then we have this line goes there too, right? All these lines on this side, and then we flip all the ones that are going here go to this point. So what do? We got to color code again, right? So we know what's what. The reason why I'm having you color code so I can tell that you know what you're doing, basically. You know the difference between making 1-point and 2-point perspective convincingly. So I'll just pick this green color, I guess. And first you want to outline the shape. But you got to make sure it's right in pencil before you do this, right? Get my attention. Let me help you if you're struggling. You would want to outline, I know this is pretty close to what I'm wanting. So you would outline the entire thing. Try to get the angles lined up with the, and then even these in here, and then make dots accordingly that go off of those angled sides that are the same color. Orthogonal lines, ORTHOGAONL. That's the imaginary lines that are coming off of these that go to a vanishing point. I'm doing this demo so that you really get a thorough one. Out of all the things, I don't know how you learn, how your teachers, did your teachers in high school, did they do anything like this for you to understand perspective? Putting it small scale on a larger paper gives you the rooms to do what we're doing. That's why I had you draw it so small. When we draw this big, we don't have, unless we attach more sheets onto the sides, how are we supposed to, you see what I'm saying? So this really makes it, you might be able to see the concept, but actually doing the concept makes you that much more aware of how perspective really works. You see what I'm saying? And then color coding this is something that I came up with years ago because I got frustrated because people were totally clueless about perspective in my drawing classes, and I was just trying to, and then of course we've got to do, I'm doing this because this is the back side of this shape. So all those lines will go over here to this point. You notice that they converge, right? It's because of this whole situation I'm talking about here with the 2-point perspective. The angles change as you go above or below eye level. That's what causes the vanishing point in the first place. You have different angles on one cube. So we got this to this. I'm doing all of them real quick. Just dotted lines. You probably remember this if you did any of this in high school. Those dotted lines that came off of the... You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy. Anybody else ever seen this before? Nobody's ever seen this before? Maybe, not? You have? Yeah. Did they tell you they were called orthogonal lines or not? I don't know. Well, that's what we call those. So, and then spheres, obviously, they're going to stay spherical. There's no angle to go with unless you turn it into an elliptical shape. And we have elliptical shapes on the cylinders, but well, that's more of a that's kind of an elliptical shape. That one you won't be able to put into perspective with, just you would think of that as a circle to begin with. But this right here, still, even the spherical shapes though, every one of these is broken. Here we go. With the spherical shapes, just still go ahead and put them in. You can just draw the outline of a circle with a different color. And just go, see how I'm drawing this as if it's made of glass. I'm drawing the whole shape in. And then this is what? What's this bottom one on the right side? The very bottom box on the right side, from my point of view, what would that be? Come on, guys. What, is that 1 point or 2 point at the bottom from where I'm sitting? No. Yeah, we're looking at predominantly the front face of that box. That's got to be in 1 point perspective. What about the one to the left of it at the bottom? 2 point. Clearly the corner of a box. So you got to remember that. That's why I'm have you up here. I'm beating you over the head with it, because 1 point, 1 point, 2 point. What about the box sitting on top of the lower right? 2 point, right? 2 point, corner of box. We've already found out that this hexagonal shape, did I say that right, is 2 point, right? Because all you'd have to do is add, if you really wanted to believe that this was 2 point, you don't really worry about you could do something like this where you're drawing the front, adding corners to these, and it would be the front face of the cube. Same difference. Okay, so do you guys have this concept? Good. Remember, spheres you don't have to worry about, but you still want to color code them differently. Every box and the orthogonal lines for that box have to be one color, so that you're color coding everything. So we can stop. Thank you.